Hello and welcome to week number 6, I guess. Class number 11. This video is going to talk about your next photo assignment, and that next photo assignment is the last of the big three of composition. We've already done interesting perspective, fill the frame as the second one, and this is the third one, and the last one, rule of thirds. So let's talk through the specifics. I'll have some examples. Here we go. So first off, rule of thirds, the due date, you will find that information on Canvas in the module for class number 11. All right, so here's the things to know about rule of thirds photos. 20 to 30 photos, that's what we've been doing all quarter long. You'll take the photos. You can take them horizontally, vertically, and what the rule of thirds means is aligning the photo, the main element of the photo, the main subject, along one of the third lines. And I'll show you an example. It's easier to show you than try and explain it like this. The other thing to be aware of with this assignment is that you can create the rule of thirds in Lightroom when you crop the photo. So you don't have to exactly get it or even be close necessarily, but you can create rule of thirds when you crop the photos before you turn them in. So that's what you need to know. And here's the biggest part of rule of thirds, and I really want you to pay attention to this part. Rule of thirds by itself is the weakest of the big three. You can't just use rule of thirds and be guaranteed or have a better chance of creating an interesting photo. You need more help from the subject and from light, okay? And maybe other things you're doing with composition. So know that, because if you just, let's say here's my blue pen that I love. I'm going to take a picture of this. I'm going to set it down and I'm going to put it on the left third. It's not a very interesting photo. Okay, so your grade for that photo will probably not interest you as well. So start with interesting subjects. That always will help you. And then again, this isn't just an exercise in saying, I know that you show me you know how to use rule of thirds. It's knowing how to use it with the subjects you're given in the context of the photo you're creating. Okay, so it's complicated. You got to work a little harder. And here's what I mean by that. So remember, here's our elements of subject, light, and composition. And I would say this arrangement is, if you're doing the first two we've already done, interesting perspective and fill the frame. The composition carries enough weight of interest that you don't have to work as hard and pay attention as much to the light and the subject, okay? Now when we get to rule of thirds, your subject really needs to carry more weight. If the light can do the weight work, that's great, but you're probably going to need more help from the subject, okay? So I hope that makes sense. I hope this example makes sense of doing the work of creating interesting photos with these ingredients, this recipe. With this assignment, with rule of thirds, you're going to need more help from the subject than you needed with fill the frame and interesting perspective, okay? All right, some more stuff. As always, if you have questions, send me an email. See me in Zoom office hours. Leave a note on the the discussion for this class. Oh, I can't type today. Rule of thirds. Let's fix that real quick. So here's the process that we always do. You're going to import the photos to Lightroom Classic using the file name rule of thirds on the photos in step number 3 of the import step on the right-hand side of the import dialog. Remember, that's 10 points of your grade, so make sure you do that. You'll select of the photos you've imported and import all of them that you captured and created for this assignment. You'll rate them with the 5-star system until you've got 10 photos that then will be edited in Lightroom. And then use the tools in Lightroom that you've been demonstrated and seen so far to finish the photo to your personal taste and preference to help tell the story. And then you'll upload those to Flickr in an album titled Rule of Thirds. And one more step, this last step is to copy and paste the link of your album on Flickr. You'll copy and paste the link of the album, the direct Rule of Thirds album link, into the assignment on Canvas. That will complete the assignment. That's way I will know you completed it by the deadline. So, some notes. You got to be taken. All the photos have to be taken by you. You'll see the dates, the date range for the photos on Canvas. Remember, don't take photos. Use photos that were taken earlier in the quarter or before the date range. You must create and import 10 photos to Lightroom and for this assignment. And here's some examples. All right. Lastly, the examples of rule of thirds. So, rule of thirds. This car detail, this hood detail, there's the rule of thirds grid on top of it, okay? So it lines up on the left third of the image. So those lines vertically and horizontally create 9 squares or nine boxes. And you want to try and line up on those lines or pretty close to them. Now, I'm not going to measure this when I look at your photos, but I'm going to do the old it looks pretty close kind of test. Here's another example. This logo on the side of a car, again on the left third. Here's a flower, blossom, bud thing on the right third. Mount Rainier and a sailboat. Watch this. We're going to get a couple thirds going here. So when you do landscapes, anytime you see the horizon, where the land meets the sky, generally try and include that on one of the thirds. Stay away from the middle, generally. Sometimes it's good, but for this assignment, stay away from the middle for the horizon. So the horizon's on the bottom third, the boat's on the right third, and Mount Rainier's got a little bit of on its left third. So kind of a trifecta of rule of thirds here. The spiderweb center is on the right third in this image. And to be honest, like I said, I cropped a lot of these to get it to rule of thirds. So feel free to get pretty close as you're taking the image, as you're creating the photo, but finish and get close to that rule of thirds with cropping tools. Here's the moon cradled by the tree and kind of lines up right at that intersection, which is kind of the most awesome spot. Those intersections, those 4 intersections are magic. At least I think they are. The subject here, even though you would think it's the airplane, is really the guy running the crew, the ground crew guy. So he's on the right third. There you go. Planes in the middle, subjects on the right. Lots of dynamic movement, motion. That's what rule of thirds can help you do. It can create a sense of motion where there isn't really, well, because our photos are static, so rule of thirds can help create a sense of motion or journey. So there you go. That's the rule of thirds assignment. See all the details on Canvas for this assignment. If you have questions, want to check with me to see if you're doing the right direction for this assignment, send me a photo. Send me a photo by email. Let me know. Ask me a question if you're on the right track. If you have other questions, just send me an email. Stop by Zoom online office hours, and let's have a conversation about this assignment. I look forward to seeing your photos, seeing what you create with the rule of thirds assignment. And I will see you in the next video.